You ever have one of those days where a piece of your tech just starts acting weird? Your computer freezes out of nowhere, the point of sale system glitches right in the middle of a transaction, a display just flickers for no good reason. So you do all the usual stuff. You swap out the hardware, reinstall the software, but that ghost in the machine, it just won't leave. Well, that ghost might actually have a name, and today we're going to learn how to unmask it. Now, just to set the stage, this is part 7 of our 10-part series. It's all based on this incredibly detailed report from the pros over at RFI Detectives, who are part of Virtualization Options LLC. Today, we're really getting into the heart of their diagnostic method, pulling straight from Chapter 7 of their guide to learn how to think like a detective and finally solve some of these maddening tech mysteries. So let's just start with the big question, right? The one that probably brought you here. Are there really invisible forces messing with your stuff? Well, the answer is almost certainly yes. But don't worry, it's not supernatural, it's just physics. Okay, so our main suspect in all these cases is something called radio frequency interference, or RFI for short. And what is that? It's basically unwanted electrical noise from all sorts of sources that can wreak absolute havoc on electronic devices that were never designed to be radios in the first place. And this right here, this slide, gets to the absolute core of the problem. RFI is the ultimate imposter. I mean, think about it. A screen flickers, you immediately think bad graphics card, right? Not a faulty phone charger plugged in nearby. A payment system freezes, and everyone blames the software, not the new LED sign buzzing away outside. We end up wasting so much time and money chasing these phantoms when the real culprit is just floating, totally unseen, in the air all around us. So, how do you catch an invisible suspect? It's a fair question. You can't see it, but it does leave behind clues, telltale signs. You just have to know what you're looking for. This is the point where we stop thinking like IT support and start thinking like detectives. And the number one skill you need, according to the RFI Detectives report, is pattern recognition. It's all about a mental shift. Instead of jumping to the most obvious conclusion, you just pause. You observe. You look for the unique signature that an RFI problem leaves behind. And this slide, wow, this lays out those patterns perfectly. First, the failures are intermittent. They're random, they come and they go. Second, it's not just one thing acting up. Suddenly, a whole bunch of different, unrelated devices get flaky. Third, maybe the problems only happen at a certain time of day, or only in one specific corner of the office. And fourth, the problem gets way worse the closer you get to something. Any of that ringing a bell? So, once you suspect RFI is the culprit, you don't start guessing. Nope. You launch an investigation. And the report lays out this beautifully logical, 4-step process that takes you from, uh-oh, I think we have a problem, all the way to, aha, I know exactly what the problem is. This right here, this is the golden rule. Seriously, you have to resist that urge to just start swapping out parts or reinstalling things. Guessing is expensive, it's frustrating, and it usually leads you right back to square one. Diagnosis is smart. A fix you can verify, even if it seems to work for a little while, might just be a band-aid covering up a much bigger issue. And here is that framework. Document, correlate, measure, and verify. It's a simple, systematic roadmap that moves you from total confusion to crystal clarity. So let's break down what each of these steps actually means. Step 1 is all about gathering evidence. You become a crime scene investigator. Every single time a glitch happens, you write it down. When did it happen? Down to the minute. Where was it? Which machine failed? Who was in the room? What other equipment was running? You're basically building a case file, and trust me, no detail is too small. Okay, in step 2, you put on your detective hat, and you start analyzing that log you've been keeping. You're hunting for those patterns we just talked about. Do the failures always happen at 2 p.m. when the afternoon shift starts using their walkie-talkies? Do they only happen when the microwave in the break room is heating up lunch? This is where your first real hypothesis starts to take shape. Step 3 is where we bring in the high-tech gear. Using tools like a spectrum analyzer, you can actually see the invisible RF energy that's in the room. It's pretty cool. This lets you confirm your theory with cold, hard data by measuring the signals when everything's working fine versus when it's all going haywire. And finally, step 4, verification.
This is a crucial two-part finale. First, you try to trigger the problem on demand. Can you turn on that motor you suspect and make the computer fail every single time? And second, if you try a potential fix, say adding some RF shielding, does the problem go away completely under those exact same test conditions? This is how you prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you found the real culprit.
See, by following this kind of process, you completely transform the problem. It stops being some random, frustrating mystery. It becomes a solvable case with clear evidence, a prime suspect, and a solution that you can prove actually works. I mean, just look at this comparison. It really sums up the whole thing. The old way, the guesswork method, you're just randomly replacing parts, throwing money into a black hole, and the problem, it almost always comes back. But the detective method is systematic. It's based on evidence, and it solves the actual problem for good. So there you have it. You now have the framework to go from being a victim of these glitches to being the detective who solves them. You've got the tools to spot the patterns and follow the evidence. So the only real question left is, what invisible mystery are you going to solve first?